Um, One thing I learned in How to Speak class by Alan Hoffler was to never speak a sentence starting it with the word or so. And what you do is, whenever you want to take a pause, you pause and then you continue talking. Because if instead you pause, you use words like so. So if you notice me doing that, tell me to stop it. Because once upon a time, before my TEDx talk, I learned how to speak to people appropriately. Look at there, one of my favorite teachers in the world, Miss B, is watching. Hello, Susan. So this is sort of a rare treat for me. It's 8 o'clock. I have beaten my husband in checkers. He is still a really sore loser. He quits once he starts losing. And he swears that it's ridiculous not to quit once you start losing. Because why drag the game out? Sore loser. So I beat him in checkers. Amos has gotten into his comforter, like he has a feather comforter with a cover on it, and he's in the comforter. So Blair's up there haranguing him. Russell's taking a shower. Honor and Amos have chased around the house. She's tired. I don't know where the cats are. Hi, Janie. Hello, supporters. So my supporters tonight joined me, and what did we do tonight? We cooked. We made Vivian's pizza. It's not really Vivian's pizza. It's Adrian's, basically, Chef Boyardee pizza dough in a can, plus find whatever spaghetti sauce you can, and then forget to put it in the oven to crisp. That's the pizza we made. So if you need any advice on your cooking, or if you want to feel better about your cooking, come over and join my supporter group, because on Wednesday nights, I cook. Hello, Angie. Jennifer, you did miss it. We had a good crowd tonight, too. So today, I had kind of an interesting day, which is shocker, rare. I went out to my son's middle school and walked around, which was super nice. I got to talk to some teachers. The superintendent walked me around. And you might say, are you wearing a coat inside because it's cold? I'm wearing it inside because I haven't taken it off. But if I did take it off, you would see that there's a lot of coffee spilled on my shirt. All my coffee cups leak. Anyway. And it makes me look thin. See? Look how thin I look. No, I'm just kidding. So I went out to school and wanted to look around. Did you get Chicken Kitchen today? No, but Russell wanted me to get Chicken Kitchen. So yesterday, I'll just wait a minute before I really start talking. Yesterday, I did a supporter video from the Chicken Kitchen line, and I was like, what did I say, Christina? I'll have, Russell wants 3 hash browns and 2 biscuits, and then I wanted grits. And I was like, and I'll have large grits. She was like, we're out of grits. I said, well, then I don't want grits. And she said, you just ordered grits. I said, well, I don't want them now that you don't have them. Oh. That was real funny. This is a restaurant that once, when their speaker system broke, they used a baby monitor instead. Genius. A baby monitor. The Chicken Kitchen get mad. No, they didn't get mad. They don't seem mad at me. I was sort of scared to go in there for a while after the last time when they made me drive around and order the pancakes. They've forgiven me now. They didn't know I was videoing them, though. Don't tell that. So that was good. This morning, I went out to the middle school, took a tour, talked to teachers, and you might say, well, why in the hell did she do that? Stop the presses. My long-lost friend Casey is on here. Casey, I haven't talked to you in a month, and I have called you. Last week, I couldn't talk to anybody because I was with my nurse all day. We were watching crime TV. But today I called you. You didn't answer. Probably because you have 400 kittens at your house. You better stop. Chicken Kitchen's going to get you. I love Chicken Kitchen. I keep going back. I clearly love the Chicken Kitchen. Now, this discussion is about schools going back. Talk about a hot topic that no matter what you say, people will hate you. And you may wonder, well, Adrienne, why would you do that? I'm going to tell you why. I got the nicest message this afternoon from Miles Layton, who is the editor of our small town newspaper. And he had written this article for his college. I guess he went to maybe West Virginia somewhere. And he wrote it about me. And that sounds so silly, but it was so nice. And he said, Adrienne touches subjects that the media, and then he put in parentheses, me, won't touch with a 10-foot, whatever. And the reason he won't touch the subjects is because people don't like it. But I have to talk about it. So this whole thing of kids being at school, kids not being at school, it's a mess, right? And we have two sides. We have a side of parents who are dying to get their kids back in school. Now, this is actually James, and we only have 5 cats. Ooh, you're going to get in trouble, James, when your mother finds out you're on her Facebook. You have parents that are dying to get their kids back in school. Now, you might say to me, well, that's easy for you to say because your kids have been back in school since September. Bingo, you're right. And then you have a group of probably teachers who are like, I ain't going back to school until there's no more COVID. And you're like, well, I don't know if that's totally reasonable. So you have two sides. And we have to somehow, hey, Linda, we have to somehow come into the middle of what's right. And so today I walked around and I thought, okay, what's happening in the school? If you live in North Carolina, and I realize many of you don't, on Thursday, the House is voting on a bill that would make all school districts go back to school in person in some way. And the idea is that it would give an option of Plan A or Plan B. You could pick your district. And so for those of you that don't know, Plan A basically is no social distancing. Everybody's back, just like it was last year, right? There's Plan A. Plan B is hybrid and social distancing. So when you look at all the research and Mandy Cohen, blah, 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 they're quoting things about how there's no spread in schools, which I've been a big fan of. I really want people to go back to school. So I'm talking from a place of I'm morphing as I learn more. All that data is done in programs where people are wearing masks and social distancing. Now, for the teacher in Georgia, masks are not required, and they're in Plan A. How would that teacher feel? So if I were a teacher right now, I'm 45, have a compromised immune system, and I were in a class with 32 kids that didn't have on masks, and I had somebody telling me, had the CDC saying to me, it's safe for you to go back. Would I feel safe? No. And today, a teacher said to me, and it was really struck me, I was looking at the classroom and I was like, okay, yeah, Florida schools are open. Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia claim to get the fewest vaccines. And anyway, that's a whole nother debacle. I'm in the classroom and the seats are 6 feet apart. 6 feet, just like they're supposed to be. And there's 17 students. So our district, which went back in September, they taped off the floor. How many kids could we have in this classroom 6 feet apart? 17. But on Thursday, if Governor Cooper says, you know what, we're going to let the districts decide. We want you to go back in some capacity, but you decide A or B. I said to Russell's teacher, you have 17 here. How many are on your roster, including your virtual? So if the whole class came back, you have in Power School, who would come back? 32. In the classrooms, probably the size of my living room. Well, I don't know what kind of room it is. It was built in 1760. Some room, probably where who knows what they did in here. 32 people. And I'm thinking, that's a lot. Well, this one teacher said to me, Adrienne, when is the last time you've been in a room with 17 people? I really had to think. Well, you know what it was? I figured it out. It was when I was in an airport on the way back from Steamboat Springs. I had a blog trip last year. And I was in the airport with that many people. That's the last time. So here I'm saying everybody should be back at school. It's safe. It's wonderful. Well, my ass sitting in a room with more than 10 people, right? So now on Thursday, if the North Carolina House votes, yes, they need to go back in person, they're giving districts an option to have 32 people. So then we have to have a question of, well, would I feel comfortable having Russell in a classroom with 32 people? Do I think Russell is going to die of COVID? Probably not. Do I think there's a high likelihood that he would have to quarantine? Yes. And if he gets COVID and my husband has to quarantine, what does that mean for my family? That means that he doesn't work for 2 weeks. And he doesn't have some job where they say stay home. If you own a law firm and you don't go to work, you don't make any money. So part of it for me is financial, right? Like we have to work to get paid, which is important. I'm trying to kind of read your comments. You would like being a supporter. If you have comments and want to talk about them, that's mainly what we do, is chit chat. But would all 32 come back? There's still going to be an option to stay remote. So Rebecca, that's the question. Districts will decide. I'm assuming that districts would keep that option. But again, it's a district choice. So if you live in North Carolina and on Thursday you hear that bill passes, you better reach out to your school system and say, hey, I have an opinion. And do some research and find out your opinion. How many kids would be in your kids' class? How spaced are the children in the classroom? So once I went today, I was like, I want kids back at school, but is that the best plan? I don't know. I feel like what Cooper's doing, and I'll say this because Cooper, no one from his office ever will call me back or email me back. And it pisses me off to no end. The only time they ever called me was last year when I said all the kids were going to have to repeat the year. Remember that? And they were like, can you take that down? I was like, no, I'm not taking it down. Maybe that's why they won't call me back. I feel like he is saying, well, you know what? I'm going to let y'all decide. So that's basically what I did to my husband this summer when a cat came in our yard. I'm out of town, and Russell finds this tiny kitten that's in the yard. And Blair wants to keep the kitten. She's got the kitten basically in her neck. And this kitten, we have to keep this kitten. Did I say, no, you're not keeping the kitten, or yes, you can have the kitten? No, I didn't. You know what I said? Just what Governor Cooper did. You let Daddy decide. Daddy decides about the kitten. Well, then Daddy's pissed at me because he doesn't want to decide, because he knows then it's a lose-lose for him. He doesn't want a cat, but he doesn't want this 10-year-old pissed at him either. So, yeah, Tiptoe, Catherine, thank you. So Tiptoe joins our family, and I just stay out of the fray. Just even keel. So when you want to know why Cooper keeps winning, he's tricky. Tricky. And then he's got Mandy Cohen, who is smart and tries to be, on top of everything. But at the end of the day, we don't have very many people in big positions that are willing to say, we don't know what the F we're doing. And we really don't. So when you start calling up there and asking questions, they basically go like this one I call, la, 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 la. I mean, I like to think up questions. So I found this one person that will email me back. He's probably come to regret that, Matt Gross. And I said, so tell me, it's like playing trivia with me. I said, tell me something. Amos's caregiver, I have a child with special needs, if you don't know, Amos's caregiver was offered a shot January 6th. As Amos's parent, I was offered a shot in group 1. Amos cannot wear a mask. Amos goes to school full time. Amos is with 3 teachers, 40 hours a week. Teachers like Amos's teachers who change diapers and feed children and are with kids that don't wear masks all over the state have not been offered shots. How are they any different than a caregiver? And the response I get back is, well, that's a good question. Well, you know what the answer is? You're absolutely right. You're right. We have no idea what we're doing, and we're trying to do the best we can, but we can't think of every single person. So I think they're trying, but they cannot think it up. So then you wonder, well, why are some counties doing this and some doing that? Because some counties are going rogue in a good way and saying, you know what? We ain't gonna wait for you fools to figure it out. We got it covered. We're getting our people vaccinated, and just mind your own beeswax. Right? Right. So there's that. So we're at a crossroads. Teachers need to be vaccinated. Today, Governor Cooper said they're going to be vaccinated starting on February 24th. Wonderful. So a teacher already sends me a message. I can't get an appointment until mid-April. That's not good. That's not good. You need to attend the state CFAC meeting and listen to DHHS, an explanation of how they prioritize people getting vaccinated. Oh, where is this meeting? And how do I sneak in? When is the vote? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Well, I encourage people to go to small counties. If you're from North Carolina and you want to come get a vaccine, you can go to any county in the state. So if you're a teacher and it's February 24th and you can't get a vaccine where you live, then look at small counties and show up. Sign up, get your vaccine. I get my second one next week, which I'm excited about. A little bit nervous, but excited about. I'm ready to see my parents and, do some things like all of us are. I got my shot at the drive-through in Edenton last week. Oh, that was good. I've been teaching full-time in a hospital since August, and I haven't had the vaccination. South Carolina doesn't have a clue. South Carolina is really a tricky place, Stephanie. I was looking into them this afternoon. South Carolina reports that they have the lowest number of shots per capita, which you think, what in the world? Why would South Carolina be getting the kind of, raw end of the deal when Trump and South Carolina were like this? Well, evidently, this isn't funny to people that live in South Carolina. But if you don't laugh, you might not make it. South Carolina failed to tell them where they wanted shipments. So if you didn't give an address, so you buy something on Pottery Barn, you buy this quilt, you're really excited about the quilt, and you pay for it, even though the shots are free. And then about 3 weeks later, you realize, I never gave them an address. That's what happened in South Carolina. The other thing in South Carolina is if you look at, when I did this post earlier today about 1B, what is 1B? Some 1B counties around the country have totally vaccinated their teachers. Other 1Bs, like Vermont, have no date in mind of when they're going to vaccinate teachers. Now, they have vaccinated ski patrol. I don't know why I love that so much. I just love the term ski patrol. I just love the idea of ski patrol being vaccinated instead of teachers. It just like tickles me to no end. Oh God, now y'all made me forget what I was talking about. What was I saying? Oh, South Carolina. So in South Carolina, if you smoke, you get a vaccine first. Now, I'm not against people that smoke. I don't have anything personally against them. No, I don't. But should smoking get you higher on the list? No. Smoking is not like cancer. I mean, you're making a poor life choice. As someone who's guilty of making poor life choices sometimes. I mean, so when South Carolina says, we don't have enough shots, well, you have on group 1 anybody over the age of 16 that smokes. What? Anyway, it tickles me. Ski Patrol has to deal with possible airways. Well, they might. But so do teachers. Lee, so do teachers. So if a child is choking, how are they different than Ski Patrol? We have teachers changing diapers and feeding children. I mean, you can't, I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. And I want teachers back. And I agree that the research is very clear. But when you look at the research, no one is talking about the research is done in places where people are masking and 6 feet apart. There is no research on when people aren't 6 feet apart and don't wear a mask. It doesn't exist because it would be an unethical research study based on our qualitative data. Ha-ha. What's to keep non-smokers from saying they smoke to move up the line? Look, MK is trying to get y'all to become supporters. All feisty women become a supporter in the group. That's because they all look so much younger because we've all been zipping. Zipping. Education is essential. Skiing is not. Good point, Emily. See, you're so much smarter than I am. Yeah, and nobody needs to ski. Like, it's not a do or die situation. And we want people teaching. Now, do I think teachers should get the vaccine that are like, I'm not going back till there's no more COVID? I probably wouldn't give them one first. I'd be like, if you ain't going back, you ain't getting a vaccine yet. You're going to have to wait. Doesn't matter what is being smoked. That's a good question. I don't know. All I know is our teachers are working so hard. And, you know, I even said, like, to somebody, like, I mean, that virtual is crap. And they're like, you know, we work so hard at virtual. And I was like, you know, we say things like that, but we have to really think about who's listening and how it makes them feel. I don't like virtual because people are in my house. So bless you. Oh, gosh, somebody's got their own in here. You know, but we need to be sensitive of what people are doing. What teachers have students in person, and now they have students that are back that haven't been around people in a long time, and they're not wearing masks. So then you've got discipline issues. Then you've got this whole virtual group, and who knows what the hell they're doing. I mean, that is a lot on your plate. It's a lot on your plate. So just give a little grace. A little teeny bit of grace. And if I'm saying that, then it's serious business. Tomorrow, on my supporter page, tomorrow night at 9, we have a question and answer session. And Friday morning at 10, we'll be having Bloody Marys because I had planned, I thought it was going to snow. And I was like, this will be great. It'll snow, we'll have Bloody Marys. Now it's not going to snow. It's going to rain, and my children are virtual for that day. Again, virtual. Not because of you teachers, but because they're in here just making a mess. Russell was at home on Wednesdays, and today at 3 o'clock, I was like, what is that smell? He has out the electric griddle. Do y'all have those? It's from Rose's. The electric griddle. And he is cooking tuna, like frozen tuna from the Food Line, tuna, and grilled peanut butter sandwiches together. I mean, like make you puke. That's the kind of stuff that goes on here during virtual. And then the dog's coming downstairs, and the dog has like Dorito bags in her mouth because everybody's leaving their food bags everywhere. It's a problem. Mine are virtual every day since March 11th, 5 kids. You know, they said the birth rate has gone down since this pandemic, and I'll tell you what it is. Most people didn't plan on having children and having them home with them their whole lives. Like those homeschoolers, I've never understood. I just don't like my children enough to be with them every second, you know? But think about, I'm so evil. You know, those people on Instagram, I really kind of have a problem. These perfect people on Instagram really do me in. They have so many followers. They look good, and they've got tons of babies, and they're like, you know, their husbands are kissing, and bleh. So all those people have those kids, and they're great. Now they live in New York, and they have 5 kids. Now all those Eladia Baldwins are stuck at home with their children. That makes me so happy. Because now you're not getting attention for all those children. You're not going anywhere. Nope. You're just like the rest of us, looking around at people in Under Armour clothes with greasy hair. Yep. Your blog is finished. They drink a lot and are medicated. Maybe that's what I need to do. They have help. There's no amount of help that could help. I'm going to sneeze because I have COVID. Carry on, my friends. Carry on. I'll see my supporters tomorrow night or Friday morning for Bloody Marys to celebrate the snow that is likely never going to come. But we have to dream. We have to dream. Carry on, people.